Hey, shalom, shalom. We'll start off as by giving all praise to Yahweh Shem Shai. Double honors possible GMS and honesty, brothers doing the work in truth, war, sincerity. So when I'm doing another quick, I'm still trying to do this other video that I wanted, but I saw something else. Spirit was like, let's do a video on this, and that's was uh was the law kept in the New Testament? And the answer is yes, it was. Right, so you get all these guys who be talking about, you don't need to keep the law, but that's not true, right? The law didn't come to destroy the law. He came to fulfill it. I don't know if I've got that here as a preset. Hold on. Oh, shit. I haven't got it as a preset, so let me just load that up real quick. Alright, it says Matthew 5 and 17. Right, it says Matthew 5 and 17. Go away. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I heard something. It says, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy but to fulfill. Yeah, the Lord Yahushua came to fulfill all that was written of him from before. Right? Because that's when the scriptures, are referenced to as the law and the prophets. In some instances where, the law being the books of the law, books of the prophets, and you also got the books of the history in there as well. So the Lord wasn't there to destroy any of that. He wasn't there to change it. Right? He was there to to fulfill things that were written of him. Right? Because when you read other scriptures, talks about this is the one, whom the Lord basically said that we would, that it said in the law would come. And you also have that is, the prophets prophesied, in Isaiah 7 and 14 prophesied Yahushua is coming. Right? This is Luke 2:21. It says, and when 8 days were accomplished for the circumcision of the child, his name was called Yahushua, which was surnamed of the angel because he was conceived in the womb. Right? And this is a Hebrew law where basically has a I'm talking about this verse down here. This verse talking about the law of circumcision, right? So basically, when a woman has a child, she's unclean 8 days. She's unclean 7 days. The eighth, a man child, and then on the 8th day, the child goes and gets circumcised, and after that, the child goes circumcised. So that's what's being fulfilled here, keeping the law here. Right, so when the days of purification according to the law of Moses were accomplished, they brought him to Jerusalem to present him to the Lord. Right, and then she goes back to being unclean for while she's being purified, man. Because you look into what's actually happening down there. That shit's nasty, man. It's like blood and mucus and just bare different bodily fluids all mixing up in that minge. So yeah, they need to go through that purification, man. That's why the law is there. Right, so that's one occasion. Right, it says Matthew 12 and 1, right? It says, and at that time Yahushua went on the Sabbath day through the corn. Right, and that's the point there and there. It's the Sabbath day. They're observing the Sabbath day. I've actually got this open elsewhere as well. No, I don't. Cool. Yeah. Oh, so this is Sabbath day, right? And they're already, observing the day, right? I think I have a feeling I've got it here somewhere. Slovakia. Yeah, I do have it here. No, I don't. Alright. Oh, so I'll go into it. It says, but when the Pharisees began to pluck the ears of the corn, it says, but when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day. It says, but he said unto them, have you not read what David said? So the Lord was learning the law. This what David did, right, when he was an hungered, and they that were with him, how he entered into the house of the Most High and did eat of the showbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priests? Or have you not read in the law how on the Sabbath day the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless? Right? But I say unto you that in this place there is one greater than the temple, i.e. Yahushua. Right? But if ye had known what this meaneth, I will have mercy and not sacrifice, you would not have condemned the guiltless. So there was no sin being committed there, man. Right? So for the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath day, right? And these are, what was it? It goes down here. So what man shall there, so verse 11, and he said unto them, what man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if it fall in a pit on the Sabbath day, will he not lay hold on and lift it up? Basic common sense. Your sheep falls in, you're just gonna leave it there, right? There's another example as well. I forgot where it is. It's in another version of the scripture, but basically talks about I won't get it in fact, but basically talks about if you've got to circumcise your child on the Sabbath day, you're not gonna do it. You see what I'm saying? You've got to do it. You've got to circumcise your child on that 8th day, whether it's a Sabbath or not. Alright, so Lord basically once again talking about upholding the law, right? This is Matthew 14:4 says, for John said unto him, it is not lawful for this. 14:3, for Herod had laid hold on John and bound him and put him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife. But John had said unto him, it is not lawful for thee to have. But basically, Herod was committing adultery, man. And he was breaking the law. This is Leviticus 18:16 says, thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. It is thy brother's nakedness. Right? This is in the time of Yahushua. So, so what are you Christians saying then? So why didn't Yahushua say, yeah, you don't need to keep the law anymore? Right, this is Matthew 22:36. He says, Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Right, so, Yahushua is being asked, what's the greatest commandment in the law? As Yahushua said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy power with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. Right, and the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Right, just basically saying, the geezer came out and said, yo man, what's the greatest commandment in the law? And Yahushua broke it down to him. Why? Because on these two laws, you keep the rest of the law. You love your brother, you're not going to steal from him, you're not going to covet, you're not going to, kill him. Right, you love the Lord, you ain't going to worship other gods. And you're gonna keep the rest of his commandments, because scripture say rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. Right? So so that's another basic law saying, look man, this basically keep the whole law is summarized by these two laws. So basically you keep doing what you're doing. Is it not what you're doing? You keep following the law. Right? This is John 8, and we'll start from verse 3. It says, and the scribes and the Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery, and when they had set her in the midst, they say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Right? It says, now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned, but what sayest thou? So basically trying to, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Right? It says, this they said, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him. But Yahushua stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground, as though he had them not, as though he heard them not. Right? So when they continued asking him, he lifted up his hand and said unto them, he that is without sin among you, let him cast the first stone. Now this is one of them ones that what do you call it? That then these Christians will say, oh, he without first, he without saying, cast the first stone, blah, 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 basically trying to get away with their wickedness and continue in their wickedness. Right, this is another one where they don't understand what this is referencing to. Right, so then again, he stooped down and wrote on the ground. Well, this is saying you can't be judged for keeping the law, for breaking the law. This is not what it's saying. because that's the way they try to use it. Oh, you can just do what you want, don't judge me. You can't, you can't condemn me for it. So then again, he stooped down and wrote on the ground, and they which heard it began being convicted by their own conscience, went one by one, beginning at the eldest, even unto the last. And Yahushua was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst, right? Because this is actually representative of the children of Israel. Right? It says Jeremiah 3:1. It says, they say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him, and become another man's, shall he return unto again? Shall not the land be greatly polluted? Right, but he's talking on adultery. He says, but thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again to me, saith the Lord. Right? It says, when Yahushua lifted up himself and saw that none but the woman, he said unto her, woman, where are those thine accusers? Hath no man condemned thee? She said, no man, Lord. And Yahushua said unto her, neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. Right, so they'll talk all of this stuff. They'll read the rest of this, right, and then they'll completely skip verse 11. When verse 11 clearly say, go and sin no more. And what is sin? Sin is transgression of the law. Right? So you got this example. This is actually in reference to the children of Israel. Right, but then you've also got what was it? Psalms 34. It's not 34. It's 23. We can do a word search. Right, 32 says, Psalms 32:2 says, in fact, from 1 says, blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Blessed is the man unto whom the Lord imputeth not iniquity, and in whose spirit there is no guile. So Yahushua has the power to say, look, man, I ain't gonna condemn you for that. Yahushua has that power. Right, so he said, look, man, I ain't gonna condemn you. But then he goes on and completes it by saying, go and sin no more, i.e. keep the law. Right? It says John 5:14 says, after Yahushua findeth him in the temple, and said unto him, behold, thou art made whole. Sin no more, lest the worst thing come unto thee. Right? This is the guy that was healed on the Sabbath day. Right, if I'm not mistaken. Oh shit, and there's another one. After this there was a feast of Jews, and Yahushua went up to Jerusalem. Right, so Yahushua was keeping the law. Once again. Right? Yeah, I'm just trying to confirm whether it's the guy that was healed on the Sabbath day or not. Yeah, it was. Yahushua said, then Jews therefore said unto him that was healed on the Sabbath day. So, like I said, it's the one I was referring to. Right? Well, yeah, this is John 8:17. Another one says, it is also written in your law, written in red, that the testimony of two men is true. Right? So the Lord talks about how if you're basically got to have two witnesses, man. So once again, Yahushua is referencing the law. It says Mark 15 and why does it say 1? 42 is what I want. Right? It's just talking about when Yahushua was crucified now, right? And you read what it says, and it says, and now when the even was come, because it was preparation, that is the day before the Sabbath, right? So once again, after Yahushua was like, they're keeping the Sabbath. So Joseph Arimathea, an honorable counselor, which was also waited for the kingdom of the Most High, came and went in boldly unto Pilate and craved the body of Yahushua, right, to basically take it down. Right, and then had it in the grave, right, and when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, and Salome had bought sweet spice that they may come and anoint him, right. So this is, what do you call it? Once again, this is after the day of the Sabbath, man. So they were observing the Sabbath even after the time Yahushua, was put on the cross, right? And this is Acts 12:4 says, and when he had apprehended him, he had put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. Right, and this word here, Easter, is a mistranslation. You see, that's Pashka G3957, Passover. Right, so we're keeping the Passover after Yahushua had died, after Yahushua had risen. Right? So yeah, like I said, hopefully, you've been edified. Right, I just wanted to touch on the point that the law was kept in the New Testament. So all these guys talking about you can't, you just do as you will. Basically, that's what they want to do. Because you ask them, alright, so is it alright to murder? No, you can't murder. That's that you shouldn't murder. It's unlawful. Was it alright to eat pork? Yeah, it's alright to eat pork because of X, Y, Z. And you're like, but that doesn't make sense. These guys are literally picking this, that, and the other that they wish to observe, right? I'm seeing as this is the topic. 6, 8. All right. This is Hebrews 8, and where am I gonna start from? Start from verse 6. But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established on better promises. Right, this better covenant, right, is the new covenant, which it goes into, and it's referring to Yahushua. It says, for if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second, because we were doomed to go off, and the Lord has to keep his promise. The Lord promised, us the children of Israel, that we'll have the land, the land of Israel, right? But we can't be in the land if we're going off. So the Lord basically had to find a way through Yahushua so that we can keep the law, so that He can keep His promise. Right? For it goes on to say, for finding fault with them, He saith, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel, and with the house of Judah. And this is a reference in the northern tribe and the southern tribe. And according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them out of the land to lead them out of the land of Egypt. I'm not giving you reference that it's only talking about Israel, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. For this is the covenant that I'll make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I'll put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I'll be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. So when we're in the kingdom, the laws are going to be in our minds, and we won't have to sin anymore. It goes on saying, they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. Well, it's basically saying the Lord will basically, every man will know the Lord. They'll know the law. They'll keep the law. Right? Because currently in these bodies, man, we can't keep the law. You want to, but then shit happens. That's just, Paul spoke about the chains of darkness. Right? But yeah, laws, we've been edified, and with that, I'm gonna say shalom.